I think you brought a ton of perspective. The thing that was really interesting about where you were at the time is, you were a large number of steps ahead of me at the time, but not so far ahead of me where like I felt like you didn't understand where I was at. I feel like you had seen the things that I was going through and would be going through. It was recent enough that, you'd see it super clearly. And so that was super powerful for me to basically be able to get this perspective from you of having been there and done that while I'm, in the trenches. And so I think that perspective was the most powerful thing. And the way that you brought that out was around just like questions and very Socratic, of really asking me like, how did you come to this? So it was really helpful the way that you kind of ask those questions to get me to the point of realizing like, oh, like we're kind of undervaluing ourselves. So I would say really just perspective that you had from being there and doing it, and then your method of coaching, of basically very Socratic and asking questions that get you to the solution. As far as like personal life and that side of things, I mentioned this to you at some point. It was in an email or something a couple of years ago, but I really feel like because of HelpFlow and, because of mentors like you, I was able to have a business that was fueling my life and like be engaged and like have all that stuff happening. But also I was able to, really be present for, the birth of my first son and really like his life after that. Feel like I've been able to feel fulfilled in the business side and feel like the business side is secure and growing and strong and learning how to be super effective in it over time. That gave me the confidence to focus on these other areas of my life. And so I have freedom and flexibility and financial flexibility, which is nice, but I also have this perspective, I think, that comes from that I would not have had if I had just continued to try to do bigger ticket consulting or higher end consulting or one-man operations. By having, a great team and building like an actual business that runs, independently, I was able to kind of detach myself a little bit from the business and live. And what I've ultimately learned is like the purpose of the business is to fuel your life. You should provide value to clients and you should have a passion for it and enjoy it, but ultimately like there's more to life than just business. And having a successful quote unquote business gives you the ability to live. It's worth a ton because I got perspective from somebody that was experienced like going through what I was going through when I didn't have that perspective. And I have it now, but I didn't have it at the time, but I felt like I did. And so I was able to execute through it because I had you by my side to like be the one that like actually knows what he's talking about. And I'm just the one, executing, kind of putting pieces together and learning along the way. So I think like when you have an opportunity to build a legitimate business and a big business, it's all execution at that point. And it gave me the clarity and the confidence to be able to actually execute. And that's what ultimately, led to where we're at now. And I mean, I've supported my life. I've got 2 kids, 1 more on the way. And I wouldn't say completely financially free, but I built a great life because of this business. And I was able to get the business past that initial gestational process because of the clarity and the confidence that I had from our conversations. So I guess that's how I would quantify it. If you have a legitimate business that can actually turn into something, all you got to do is execute correctly and work really hard to get through it. But that's not super easy and that's not super clear. And a lot of times I think what happens is business owners, they look back years later when they have experience. And even I do this with some of the things that we've done. You look back and you go, what was I thinking? Like, why did I do it like that? The value of having an advisor like you is an advisor can ask you questions and plant that stuff into your mind so that you actually don't do those mistakes and you do it a different way and you execute and you get there. So if the business has the potential to be successful, an advisor can be a key ingredient to actually getting you there. If you're serious about building your business and actually making it happen, the experience that Alex has is critical, both from super tactical experience of like having been there and done that, like I mentioned earlier, but also from the perspective of like knowing how to coach and knowing how to lead you to like your own insights that are based on experience you already have, but you just don't see it yet. Between that tactical experience and the experience of knowing how to lead somebody and coach somebody, if you want your business to be successful, like it's a no-brainer to work with Alex. He knows what he's doing. He's got the track record and he's good at coaching. And to have like all of that in one place is very rare. There's a ton of coaches, but if you dig into track record, like not a lot of coaches have sold their businesses to massive companies and like generated millions in revenue and done what Alex has done. But they might be great coaches. Alex has both. He has the experience and he's great at coaching. And as long as he's doing coaching, definitely something to take seriously, because it can be a perspective that Alex brings can be the difference between, making it and not making it. It's not just as simple as working hard. You got to execute things correctly. And Alex has that perspective.